Welcome to Fun and Games with Conditioning, classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and other kinds of conditioning. So we're going to do some fun and games. I want you to use your pause button so that this review will be as similar to taking the exam as possible. So don't just listen to the answers, really pretend that you're taking the test. So just for review, classical conditioning is when two things get paired. Pretty soon, the one just elicits the response alone. Operant conditioning, that's for more deliberate behaviors. Sequence of reinforcements can shape your behavior into very complex kinds of behaviors. So our first game, I'm going to put some ideas on the left, and we're going to sort whether it's classical or operant. Let's go. All right, automatic behaviors. Pause. That's classical. B.F. Skinner. Hope you said operant. Unconditioned stimulus, unconditioned response. Conditioned stimulus, conditioned response. That is classical. So let's detour for a moment. This is similar to what you'll see on the exam, so read that. So I'm going to highlight the players, key players here, and I want you to identify which is the unconditioned stimulus and response. Pause. That's the chemotherapy and feeling sick. Then what is the conditioned stimulus and conditioned response? So that's obviously the feeling sick and just being in the parking lot. Being in the parking lot becomes a stimulus to you feeling sick. So on the exam, there will be no highlighted words, so read this carefully. Pause. So the unconditioned stimulus, unconditioned response, that's the couch. The couch becomes a stimulus to you eating. That's your response. So now, when you're on the couch, you feel like you should be eating. It's become conditioned. Okay, pause and read this one. So the pollen is making you sneeze. That's completely unconditioned. But later, just seeing the flower has now become a conditioned stimulus, and your sneezing is a conditioned response. So we just talked about these. Let's move on. Positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative reinforcement, negative punishment. So those are operant concepts, and let's play this game. So I'm going to give you a scenario, and you need to sort what it is. So no cell phone for 24 hours. So pause and think about it. So that is negative because you've lost the phone, and it's punishing for obvious reasons. Car accident after drinking. Pause. So that is positive because the accident's been added, and it's punishing, hopefully. Traffic ticket. Pause. So that's also positive because the ticket's been added and then it's punishing for obvious reasons. Good grades after working hard. So good grades after working hard is positive. The grades have been added and it's very reinforcing, we hope. But what about good grades after cheating? Well, interestingly enough, that's still positive and it's still very reinforcing. And this is one reason why once you start cheating, it's actually very difficult to stop. It's very reinforcing to get away with something. But what if you get grounded after you are discovered for cheating? That would be negative because you're losing all your privileges, and it'd be punishing because you're grounded. Winning the lottery. So positive and reinforcing. In fact, it's so reinforcing that they advertise and put you on television because you've won. That encourages other people to play the lottery. So getting sick after eating mushrooms. Positive, punishment. Not having any chores. If you do all your homework and turn everything in, you don't have to do any chores on Saturday. That's negative. It's also reinforcing. Winning a vacation because you call into a radio station. This actually happened to a friend of mine. So that's definitely a positive. The vacation's been added, the call, and then the vacation, and then it's reinforcing. So reinforcing that they want people to listen to you winning it, and they'll be more likely to listen to the radio station. Saving money at Costco, one of my favorite things to do. That is positive, and it's reinforcing. I'm more likely to shop at Costco again. Talking your way out of a spanking, but Mom, I didn't do it. That's negative because you get out of the spanking, and it's reinforcing. So we just talked about positive punishment and reinforcement, negative punishment and reinforcement. Now let's talk about taste aversion. That is classical. Extinction. That's a trick question because it's both. Behaviors established either way can be extinguished. How about a few more? Conditioned reinforcers. So I put this in the operant camp, but it kind of applies to both. The reinforcer is being conditioned. The conditioned part is operant. The reinforcer is classical, but just know that that has to do with the token economies, where the ticket gets you into the movie. The ticket in itself has no inherent reinforcing value, but because you pair it with something they want, like candy, whatever, watching a movie, that's the nature of its reinforcing properties. Okay, I said enough about that. Pavlov, classical. Variable interval, fixed interval, variable ratio, fixed ratio, pause. That's operant. So let's do another detour or another game. I'm just going to give you 4 scenarios, and I want you to sort whether it's variable interval, fixed interval, variable ratio, fixed ratio. If you don't know what those are, pause right now and go back. All right, you ready to move ahead? Every 5th candle you sell earns you a bonus. You're a candle distributor. So that's fixed because it's every 5th candle, and it's ratio because it applies to your behavior of selling. Playing roulette in Las Vegas, that's obviously variable because you do not know when you're going to get the money, and it's ratio, it's based on a behavior. Getting your student loan disbursement. So that happens at the beginning of every semester, so it's fixed, and it's based on an interval of time. How about Instagram likes? So that's variable interval. It's kind of like checking your email. You're not sure if that great email is there or not, and you check it at variable intervals of time. So we just talked about this. Spontaneous recovery is our last one. So that's also a trick question because it is both. Observational learning, theories on the left, theorists on the right. That's Bandura. Latent learning, pause. Tolman. Classical conditioning, Pavlov. Modeling, that's really the same as observational learning, so it's Bandura. How about insight or sudden bursts of change in behavior? That's Kohler, who worked with Sultan the chimp, and I remember that because Kohler faucets don't leak. They're either all on or they're all off. Operant conditioning, Skinner. And then modifying purposeful behaviors. That's just another word for operant, so it's Skinner as well. All right, we're done. Hope that's helpful.